announces his retirement. We'll talk about the impact on the upcoming season, plus the downside, and there are just one or two of the signing of Zdeno Chara. We'll have that and a whole lot more on today's Locked On Islanders podcast.
Your Locked On Islanders, your daily podcast on the New York Islanders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, everybody. Gil Martin here. So glad you could join us for the Tuesday edition of the Locked On Islanders podcast, and we've got a lot to discuss on today's show. Travis Zajac announcing his retirement from the NHL. He officially does it as a New Jersey Devil, signing a one-day contract with them, and that makes sense. We'll talk about the decision and how it impacts the Islanders' forward depth coming up for the upcoming season. We'll also talk about the drawbacks of the Zdeno Chara signing. I love the signing. I think it's a positive thing, but there are a few drawbacks, and we'll discuss them on today's show. And our Islanders birthday of the day looks back at a former first overall pick for the Islanders who never quite panned out, mostly because of injuries. Today's show is brought to you by Rock Auto. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. Visit rockauto.com and tell them that Locked On sent you. If you've got something Islanders in your mind, if you have a question, a comment, or maybe a topic that you'd like us to talk about on the show, feel free to email us at lockedonislanders@gmail.com. And if you leave your first name and where you're from, we're happy to talk about whatever it is that's on your mind, and we'll mention you on the show when we do that. You could also follow the show on Twitter at Locked On Isles, and you could follow me, Gil Martin, on Twitter at Ice Wars, NYR, VSNYI. We'll keep you up to date on all the news and notes from training camp, any additional free agent signings, trades, rumors, and all the preseason action. All of it will be kept up to date right here on the Locked On Islanders podcast. We are now on YouTube, so you can watch the podcast in addition to just listening to it. And, of course, this week we are back on our Monday through Friday schedule. So, again, the show drops around 12:30 a.m., just a little after midnight. So night owls can listen before bed. Early risers, subscribe. It'll be waiting in your inbox as soon as you wake up, and you can listen to it whenever you're ready. So the Zdeno Chara signing, we're going to start with that. And, you know, I think Chara signing of New York Island. And it gives a little more security ship of variance. There's the poetic justice, so to speak, of having him come back and likes the day that sent Zdeno Chara away Ottawa, but now his career as a New York Islander, and all of that is. But here is the drawback in my mind. This Islanders team is now in win-now mode. And if you have a question about that, listen to these players who are all on the quote-unquote wrong side. 30. Josh Bailey, 31. Zdeno Chara, 44. Casey Cizikas, 30 years old. Cal Clutterbuck, 33. Andy Green, 38. Thomas made the roster, 32. Leo, 31. Matt Martin, 2. Kyle Palm and Richard Panik, each are 30. Zach Parise, 37. Simeon Bar, 33. That is a lot of players who you're relying on this year who are on the wrong side of 30. And what do we know about veteran players who are older, not just hockey players, but people? A, the older the hockey, the more likely they are to suffer nagging injuries. B, we know that when those injuries take place, it takes the veteran players a little bit longer to recover from those injuries than it does when they're 20, 25, 23, 27, whatever it is. The older players take longer to recover from injuries. So it really is an issue there. That tests your depth. And in the short run, I think it's going to be an issue when you have that many players over 30, and now with Chara, someone over 40 on your roster who you're relying on to play major roles and big minutes and get the job done for this team. And it was a little bit easier over the last two seasons when we had a 68-game season and then a 56-game season. Here, we're back with an 82-game schedule. Hopefully everything works out with COVID and it doesn't cause cancellations. But not only is it a full 82-game schedule, it's compressed because of the Olympics and the 3 weeks that all the teams are taking off in the middle of February. So you have 82 games, full schedule. You have more games with fewer days off except for the Olympic break. And how is that going to affect this team that is relying on so many older players to play key roles? The other thing that it does, it slows down the development to a point of guys like Robin Salo and Samuel Bolduc and maybe Sebastian Aho, players who realistically may not be ready for the NHL right away, but they don't have any place to go right now. There are no jobs to be had on this roster. And maybe because of the age of some of these players, the Andy Greens and the Zdeno Charas on the blue line in particular, maybe a guy like Sebastian Aho can play 25, 30 games for the Islanders and gain a little experience. We talked about that. That's a positive, that these guys, their development may be slowed down a little bit. And the Islanders traded away some number one picks. They traded away a number one for Pet. They traded away another number one when they end up acquiring Kyle Palmieri and Travis Zajac. Eventually, the absence of those top picks means you have fewer top-level blue-chip prospects in your system. And so it really are, on paper, a good, should contend for a Stanley Cup this year, and I think they will if they stay relatively healthy. 3, 4, 5 years down the line, when the loss of these draft picks are felt and these older players start to retire or be less effective, will the Islanders be in a situation where they don't have enough young talent on their roster to fill these gaps, and then the team's overall talent level and performance falls off? So those are the drawbacks. I think overall the sign of Zdeno Chara was a smart short-term move, and now we have to see how it ends up playing out. When we come back, we'll talk about the retirement announcement of Travis Zajac, what that means for the Islanders this year, a little bit about Travis Zajac's career, and we'll break all of that down on today's show. This episode is brought to you by Rock Auto. With the ever-increasing number of makes and models, it is now impossible for your local chain auto parts store to stock all the parts you need. So why endure often pointless or seemingly intimidating questions and wait while the person behind the counter orders the parts on their computer, choosing only the brand their warehouse happens to carry? You have computers with access to rockauto.com at home and in your pocket. So why choose to spend 30, 50, or even 100% more for the same parts from a chain store or car dealership? Rockauto.com is a family been serving do-it-yourselfers online for 20 years, and their prices are reliably low and the same for every customer. They have everything you could need: brake parts, tail lamps, motor oil, even a new carpet. And look, you can go explore their easy-to-use website today and find all the solutions to your auto parts needs. Go to rockauto.com right now and see all the parts available for your car or truck. Right, Locked On in there. How did you hear about us box so they know we sent you? Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. rockauto.com. Today's episode is also brought to you by DirecTV Streams. Does this sound familiar? You got one device that lets you catch the game live, another that lets you stream your favorite shows, you're watching sports highlights on your phone, and you've got your neighbor's best friend's login for the good stuff. Well, I want to tell you about a simple way to get all that entertainment you love without the hassle, and a great way to finally get your TV together. It's called DirecTV Stream, and it brings your live TV and on-demand favorites together like never before, so you can watch your favorite sports, movies, and shows all in one place. That means no more juggling remotes, no need to buy another device ever again, and the best part, there's no annual contract. So get rid of the clutter and the confusion and get your TV together with DirecTV Stream. You can learn more at directtv.com. That's directtv.com. Compatible device required. Content varies by package. So Travis Zajac announced his retirement on Monday, signed a one-day contract with the New Jersey Devils so he could retire as a member of the Devils organization. And the announcement was made basically Zajac job in the front office doing work for the Devils organization. And all of that makes sense. First of all, what we saw last year from Travis Zajac after he was acquired from the Devils: 13 games in the regular season, 1 goal, 2 points, a -1 plus-minus. 14 games in the postseason, again, 1 goal, 2 points. Overall, Travis Zajac's effectiveness has been on the wane really for the last couple of years. 2019, 2020, 69 games, 25 points. Last year, combined between the Devils and the Islanders, 46 games, 20 points. These are not top 6 forward numbers anymore. Zajac still brought you some intangibles: good in the faceoff circle, good on defense, responsible in his own end, some leadership qualities. But overall, this is not the Travis Zajac that we know from his prime career years with the Devils. And look, a player who joined the Devils in 2006, 2007 in, a full-time position, stayed with the Devils all the way through the trade deadline last year, and then finished up with the Islanders with the post-trade deadline and playoffs. 1,037 career NHL games, all but 13 of them with New Jersey, 203 goals, 552 points. You can add 12 goals and 30 points in 71 playoff games, and you've had a solid career for Travis Zajac. No, not even close. But all-time great New Jersey Devil, he'll certainly earn accolades from, rightfully so, for all of the contributions. He part of New Jersey's long playoff run in 2012, where in 24 games he had 7 goals and 14 points. And again, Travis Zajac, a heart and soul player for New Jersey over the course of his career. Look, when we were figuring out the Islanders lineup the coming season, we already knew that Travis Zajac wasn't any room in this lineup, but even in the playoffs and the regular season last year. He scratched a number of games early. Off started, Oliver Wahlstrom was in the lineup, and Zajac then Wahlstrom and Zajac completed the rest comfortable play veterans than guys. But now the question really becomes, given that, who's going to fill in at the 13th, 14th forward on this lineup? Because you have a first line of Barzal, Lee, and Kyle Mary or Wahlstrom. Nelson, Bavila, and Bailey, the B&B line is your second line. Parise, either Wahlstrom or Palmieri. Your third line, and then the identity line. This is Zajac, Martin, Clutterbuck. So who are the black aces? Who are the forwards ready to step in? And, Zajac was going to, you have to figure Michael Cole, Richard Panik, Leo Komarov, the players battling on, I look at it, and Komarov and you could save some cap space, being Uncle Leo, so it would cost you less against the cap, probably could play a similar. We know what ability to fight, the ability to check. They really need to come up with a serious injury and develop. And then you have Michael Dal-Cole, who I think, to me, it's either Komarov and then Dal-Cole. Dal-Cole, the kind of guy who is steady, who will work hard, perfect bottom six kind of forward, has the role to be more of a top six guy for a game or two, but hasn't proven that NHL level. That was the original scouting report. So you need him for one game to play on the second line. You could go with Mike Cole, although it'd be easier in my mind to take, let's say, Zach Parise, move him up to the second line. And then insert a guy like Al Cole or Uncle Leo or Richard Panik on that third line. But again, it gives you options. And training camp is going to be the proving ground in training camp. When we come back, we'll have our Islanders' birthday of the day, a former first overall pick who never quite reached his potential due to injury. We'll have that and a whole lot more still to come on the Locked On Islanders podcast. We're back and better than ever. All eyes are on the gridiron as teams are back to start another football season. And as always, BetOnline is your number one spot for all the pro and college football action this year. With a new updated site and interface, even more odds, props, and contests, BetOnline.ag continues to be the number one source for everything football. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today to receive your 1% welcome bonus. That's double your initial deposit just for signing up. Don't forget, just use the promo code NFL100. From football, basketball, boxing, hockey, right to your favorite Vegas casino games, don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. So check it out. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. Time now for Islanders' birthday, and we are realistically a couple of days late. There were three Islander who had big contributions to the team, who were big personalities and all had days either Sunday or Monday of this week. So we started with Ed yesterday's show. Today, happy 40th birthday to goaltender Rick DiPietro. The first overall pick of the Islanders and first overall the 2000 NHL entry draft, spent at Boston University before joining the Islanders for the 2000, and really started to develop into a quality goaltender before injuries really derailed his career. At the All-Star game, we saw him. In fact, he was mic'd up when he got hurt and never really was able to stay healthy enough. Last played for the Islanders in 2012, 2013. You know, the thing about Rick DiPietro, a lot of people didn't appreciate some of the attitude, but it was interesting because as he got older, as he matured, he really turned into a good guy and a good teammate that his teammates appreciated. And he was a good goalie before he was hurt. The thing that always frustrated Islander fans was the unbelievable contract that was given to Rick DiPietro that he could never live up to. And then the injuries, of course, derailed his career, and he wasn't able to even. So, you know, that sort of became an issue. Rick DiPietro, but can you blame the guy? If someone offers you a 15-year contract that basically gives you, essentially it sets you up for life, who would turn that down? Rick DiPietro, a good guy, a good Islander, spoke to him a number of times when I was covering the team, and really got to like Rick DiPietro, and now he's had a successful broadcasting career after he was forced to hang them up. We're going to go back and look at one of his better games with the Islanders. November 15th, 2006, the Islanders visiting the Dallas Stars at the American Airlines Center. Obviously, Rick DiPietro in goal. The Islanders, Marty Turco was the Dallas Stars nander in this game, and Islanders got on the board first. The Islanders had a power play. Mike Ribeiro in the box for holding. York tallies a power play goal, his fourth of the year. Miro Shatan and Radek Martinek with the helper. 4:01, 1-0 Islanders after the first period. In the second period, the Isles add to their advantage. Jason Blake tallies his ninth of the year. Alexei Yashin and Chris Simon with the assists at 5:40. After two periods, Islanders 2 and the Dallas Stars nothing. In the third, the Islanders ice the win on a goal by Trent Hunter, Victor Kozlov, and Mike Sillinger with the assists. Time of the goal, 15:31. The Islanders skate away with a 3-0 win over the Rick DiPietro, a shutout, 35 save shutout at that. Islanders outshot 35 in this game, but because of the outstanding ending of our Islanders' birthday of the day, Rick Pietro, the Islanders skate away with the 3 win. So hard to believe that Rick DiPietro is a 4-0, but we wish DP a very happy 40th day and any start our Islanders' birthday of the days for this week. We have got more to talk about tomorrow as we continue our preview before training camp. Way hard to believe it, but great training camp. So make sure you join us for that. And betting on the Islanders doesn't have to be a guessing game. If you listen to the new Locked On Bets podcast, it's hosted by your boy Q and handicapping expert Lee Sterling. Get daily picks, blowout specials, wrong team favorite picks, and Lee Sterling's lock of the day. Follow the Locked On Bets podcast, brought to you by betonline.ag, wherever you get podcasts. That's going to do it for this episode of the Locked On Islanders podcast. Have a great day, everybody. Stay safe, and of course, let's go Islanders.